packed with so much knowledge and different perspective than a lot of people that I know. And I'm really excited to share his story on today's episode. But before we get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsor, Try Neuro Supplements. If you want to have a brain that functions well, have better memory recall, have better focus, and get more things done in your life without being on any form of prescription, Try Neuro Supplements is for you. It's safe for your entire family. Someone like me who suffered from a lot of traumatic brain injuries, a lot of head traumas, I am highly subject to dementia and Alzheimer's. Try Neuro Supplements has formula inside of it to help with the cognitive degeneration inside, as well as anti-inflammatory aspects, which help people like me that have a breached blood-brain barrier. So certain foods, certain things that we consume, when it gets inside here, cause inflammation. We start to feel really slow and groggy, and maybe you do too. Check out Try Neuro Supplements. I'll link it in the comment descriptions below. And as always, if you use code DEFY20, that's DEFY20, all caps, you save 20%. Let's get into the show. Well, dope, dude. I think we talked about stuff like this for a long time. We've just never done it for whatever reasons. What people don't know about you, at least, and I want to get into what people don't know about you from your own perspective, right? But I met you through a mutual friend, Dustin, and I didn't know of you. My wife knew of you from the gyms. I didn't know anything about you, and honestly, I think the first night I met you was you did like a oyster cookout at your house.
Yeah, Dustin showed up. Dustin never comes by himself. He's got an entourage. And, yeah, that's right. I remember that now. He just, hey, can I bring some friends? And I'm like, yeah, man. And you guys just all showed up.
Yeah, I think I ate oysters and I rolled a joint there. I'm like, hey, is this cool? And you're like, whatever you want to, man. I'm like, cool. And then we started talking and hanging out, not behind Dustin's back in a negative way, but we just sort of I don't know how it continued. I don't know how it continued from there. I know how it continued.
I think you were coming in the gyms, at the Gold's gyms that I ran.
I don't think I did that. I think I'm like, hey, I'll shoot you video. Remember? I think I was going to shoot you video for the Grind Athletics, which is your company. We'll get into that in a second. But, because I just got out of the military, and videography, photography, just that type of thing I was interested in. This is before we moved into the van. I don't know if it's before. I think it was right before we moved into the van, or we took off in the van. I think I was in the van for a little bit. I came back home because we were working on the van, and then I started working with you. And then, yeah.
You were doing the bodybuilding show then. That was when you were prepping for your show too. So that might have been pre-van. That was when you were still Ratfink, when you were the old Cody that has been demolished and destroyed and rebuilt better. Remember Ratfink?
Yeah, I remember Ratfink. Ratfink was the guy who stalked my wife, and she's like, who is this guy that has this weird mustache and only has his pictures of guns and motorcycles on his Instagram?
That was your aggressive post-operating aggressive days.
Yes. I only had Instagram, actually. I found out about Instagram in 2009, 10, maybe 10. And I only got Instagram so I could talk to my other friends that were deployed in other camps and stuff.
I remember your buddy Dustin used to come in the Gold's gym, and he would wear his little silky short shorts. And I was like, who is this big Marine dude with these little short shorts on? But I was intrigued. Yeah,
Dustin, the guy we're talking about, Dustin and I were in the Marine Corps together. We were first Force Reconnaissance together. We were on the first MARSOC deployment together. We taught at the MARSOC schoolhouse together, and we've been friends literally for 18 years now. But I hated him when I first met him. He had this stupid. I was new to Force Reconnaissance, and but I wasn't new to that lifestyle of job. But I was new to that job, so I was the boot new guy. Doesn't matter what combat experiences I had or what my job title was before that. Didn't matter. And then Dustin was a senior Force Recon guy, senior to me. And he had this stupid big lifted truck. It was ridiculously big, and I thought this guy was so obnoxious. And I'm like, dude, I don't like this guy at all. And he was he was wild. I was crazy, but I was subtle turtle crazy where like I kind of move slow, but if I have to, like I turn into like a velociraptor. Like he was just like go, like a little chihuahua pit bull killer machine. And I'm like, dude, I did not like him. And it wasn't until after our first deployment, I got to the schoolhouse and he checked in. And I saw how this dude was, he was in charge of all the guys that dropped their selection, or sorry, dropped their pipeline course. So they already passed selection in MARSOC. Now they're in like our school phase, our year and a half like long pipeline. And any guys that got dropped or injured, they go to Dustin, and Dustin would like make sure they're taken care of. They're getting like basic military school, so they don't like lose their like pecking order in just like the big military. And I saw how he like treated these guys, and I was blown away. It completely changed my whole perspective about Dustin, because I only knew Dustin as how I saw him. I didn't see Dustin as a guy who, when given the opportunity, that dude's like a tick. He moves in somewhere and he just takes over, and not in like an aggressive, douchey way. He's just like, I have been with him on multiple deployments in multiple countries, continents, and I've seen him in multiple phases of life. And that dude is like, he touches anything, it turns to gold. Like he's obnoxious. Like you love him or you hate him. There's like no in between, because he is that guy. But he's not like ever. When you talk to him, you're always gonna get the truth. You're never gonna get any coddling, and you're gonna get shit done. And like that dude holds people accountable. It's like, sometimes it makes my butthole cringe still, because I'm like, dude, this is nuts. Like, because he's just a good freaking dude, man. He's so good, and he loves people. He takes care of people. He takes care of his own, and that's how I met Tim, was through Dustin. And then fast forward, Redefine the Norm starts, and I think I was kind of like reaching out to you, but what really impacted me about you, it was like during COVID, and you're like, hey, dude, how about you, I think you said like, stop drawing or some shit. You're like, how about you come back to North Carolina and let's build your brand? Because I was tattoo apprenticing, and even my wife was like that. I was like drawing for someone else, in a drawing room, when I wasn't even doing shit for Redefine the Norm. I was still sharing the same message. I just did not have a product or service that I was like offering the world.
You did, actually. You were doing the tattoo apprentice, and I've got this warehouse, and you start this brand, and you come home, you're like, hey, can I come over and can you help me ship some hats? I'm like, yeah. So you printed a few shirts. Well, actually, I printed them for you, and I was picking them up. I was folding them. You had a shelf in my warehouse, and when I got done packing Grind Athletics orders, then I would switch over to Redefine the Norm. So I'm bagging, I'm tagging, I'm shipping for you, I'm logging into your Shopify, and you're telling me that you're at this homestead and you're apprenticing and you're living with another couple, and you love them, but it's getting a little hard to live with another couple. You don't feel like, you feel like you're living under someone's roof again, and just wanted to kind of spread your wings. And I'm like, dude, you've got this brand. I'm shipping it for you. You're selling it. Move the fuck home and invest in your brand and put in some hours and grow the thing. You're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then you came back, and I'm like, why don't you just do this full time and make it happen? So, yeah, you moved into my warehouse, and you took the upstairs.
I literally moved into your warehouse.
You lived there, and when I ended the lease, they're like, you had a gentleman living upstairs with dogs, and he was not supposed to be sleeping there. This is not zoned for housing, and it smells like dogs, and I'm going to have to charge you to clean the carpets, and there's no pets allowed. I'm like, oh, you mean that the U.S. Marine that had his service dogs, is that what you're saying, that a U.S. Marine can't have service animals in a building? I beg to differ on that. And he's like, oh, okay, well, we still need to get the carpets clean then. Yeah, they were a little overbearing.
Yeah, that guy was weird. That dude was weird. That guy was strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because I was drop shipping first inside the van, because I didn't have room for inventory, and I didn't have any money either. I was just $29.99 to buy a Shopify store using my iPad that I already had, and doing designs. Found a drop shipping. They got me going, and then I wanted to start. You started teaching me about like margins and stuff like that, and so like you hooked me up with your screen printer, and that's how we got started with you. And then, around the same time, I'm like, bro, I want something of my own. Like my friends were now selling their other house and moving into the other house. They had two homes. I'm like, man, I want my own little campsite, fire base. And I realized I had no money. I was living well within my means, living in a van. I wasn't struggling, but I couldn't also, I had nothing to grow with either. And when you say, hey, come back, Stephanie's like, hey, let's do it. And, I did my first $30,000 month in your warehouse. And that blew my mind. $30,000 was about, I don't know, 30 times more than I made the year prior. I started off with like $1,600. Then it was like a $50,000, $60,000 year. And then it just like incrementally, went up. And you taught me a lot. You taught me a lot of systems, which we revamped that made sense for us, right? But like your structure and your baseline taught me like, oh, this is how it works. And like kind of like you really taught me the importance of like customer service and like just taking care of people who take care of you, because people's money, their hard-earned money, is supporting our families. And our hard-earned service to them is showing our gratitude and extension, because we don't just sell. We're not selling shirts. We're selling fucking freedom. We're selling a mindset. We're selling this like this bond between like what we want in this life and what we're doing to get there. It's this like empowerment, And you taught me a fuck ton. And that's really kind of like how our relationship started. And then you fucking did a 180 with like your life, from Range Rover to like country living. And like it made me happy because, we both had talks about we weren't happy about a lot of stuff in our life. Not to like we wanted more, but we didn't realize that maybe we needed less, just in a different capacity. And like nature has been huge. And, so I'm really interested, like, what was that shift? Because you had a very luxurious kind of life, right? Like you tell us a little bit about your background, kind of like who you were, kind of like how you started, but like that pivot from like kind of like what the Tim we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think at the stage you met me, I was kind of at the top of the mountain of success. I had started at the bottom in the fitness industry, working the front desk at gyms. And, I went to college, got a degree in sport management, and I've just always loved the fitness industry. I used to be really big into bodybuilding. And I kind of went through the ranks, Cody, from going from, front desk to selling memberships, being a sales manager, to being a general manager, to being an area manager. Next thing I know, I'm vice president of 10 gyms. And, I always say that business cards are for people that can't close deals. And I got hung up on titles and status and image. I don't think I really wanted people's respect, but I wanted to accomplish something. And, it was like I wanted to be this big tattoo guy driving this $200,000 Range Rover autobiography and get out. And they're like, yo, how's this tattoo dude all muscular driving a Range Rover, and he's a vice president of a company, and, he lives how he wants. It was just kind of cool. But I realized that I was living a life that kind of had just run its course. I was a suburbs boy, and it was kind of like when I was running the gyms. I knew that I climbed the top of a mountain. Where do I go from being a vice president? I'm living in southeastern North Carolina. I'm making $150,000 a year, which is good money for southeastern North Carolina. I'm driving a Cadillac Escalade, company car. I've got a credit card for gas, vehicle repairs, insurance is paid for, cell phones paid for, health insurance for the whole family. And that was it, dude. It was kind of like knowing when you're going to die. Like, I don't want to know when I'm going to die because I don't want that to be planned out. It's the same thing. Like, this is all you're ever going to be in life, Tim, as a vice president of 10 gyms, and you're going to make $150,000. And that's good, but is that all I can do in my life? And is this the best I'm ever going to be? And I realized, holy shit, like, you're at the top of the mountain, dude. There is no more peak to climb. So what I did was I just imploded that motherfucker and started at the bottom. I gave it all up for the hopes of that dream again. Like, dude, I could really build something and put my mark on it and make something from nothing. And I could do $1 million. And it wasn't even the money. Money to me isn't about materialism anymore. Money to me is about freedom. And that freedom is such a hot topic. People are talking about how we're not free. The freedom I'm talking about is I want to be able to not wear khakis and a dress shirt and be told when to come into work and to wear a name tag around my name, on my neck, and have to adopt company policies and procedures and guidelines and speak like the owner and take his viewpoint. And once in a while I got to tell somebody, hey, F you, your gym membership's canceled. Then it's like they go to the owner and they want to tell on me. And I'm like, I want to be free. And I want to wake up when I want to wake up, and I want to work till 5 a.m. when I'm on a friggin' tear of a high and growing. And I want to be able to drive my kids to school and pick them up and wake up in the morning and go hunting. And I want to be able to work 110 hours in a week when I'm dropping something. And that to me was like sexy. And that's the sexiness I wanted.
Yeah, but did you start off that way? Like, you still had like your main, top of the peak job, and then you like started this like next venture at the same time, or kind of like what was that, like that play?
So I was feeling like a fraud, right? So I'm driving my fancy car, and I was a big fan of the Annie Frisella MFCO podcast, right? I'm driving my Escalade in my khakis and my dress shirt tucked in. I'm going to the big title job. I'm vice president of 10 Gold's Gyms, and I'm coming in, and I'm the big dog. I'm managing like 30 managers, 475 employees, and we've got 80,000 members amongst these gyms. And driving down the road, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, you're full of shit, Tim. You're never going to do it. So I was lying to myself. I had this illusion. But then I also had this self-doubt, like, dude, yeah, you're big. You're not the biggest dude. Yeah, you've got a cool message, but maybe not the best message. Like, who am I? Why would anybody listen to me? And so I started just brainstorming, like, okay, I need to plan my exit because my kids were born, Diesel, my son, I took this promotion when he was 6 weeks old, and fast forward, I'm doing this vice president role for 4 years, and I'm on the road 4 nights a week, gone Monday through Friday, and then my daughter was born, and she was 6 months old, and I realized, this is such a weird thing to say, but I only changed her diaper 2 times in 6 months because all I did was work, 80, 90 hours a week. I'm like, this just feels stupid. Like, I'm giving my life to this gym owner to make him millions, and yes, I was paid well, but I'm like, I need to start something on the side and plan my exit. So I remember I was laying in my pool and I was floating on a raft, right, on like a weird day when I took a mental recharge. And I've been listening a lot to that. Remember that Eric Thomas, the
hip-hop preacher?
Yeah. So he kept talking about grind. And I remember using the word grind. And it's funny, like, I never use the word grind. People will message me and be like, keep grinding, bro. I'm like, okay, thank you. It's just a weird thing. But I was talking with my team about how we got to grind, man. We got to grind because I was VP of sales. My job, my sole purpose was to make sure that there were sales on the board, dollars in the register. That's all that mattered to the owner of the gym. How many sales, how many dollars? And rightly so. It's his business. And so I'm always talking about grind. So I remember floating on my raft, and I'm like, that's it, the grind athletics. And I remember I jumped off my raft, ran into the house, and I'm like, I'm going to start an apparel brand called The Grind Athletics. And I knew fucking nothing. So I Googled, how do you make T-shirts? And I went down this weird rabbit hole of like, do I screen print? What is screen print? What is heat press? What is DTG, direct to garment? How do I make a shirt? I don't have any computer skills. I don't know how to build a website. I don't know anything about social media. At this point, I had like no social media accounts. I didn't know anything about e-commerce. I knew nothing about anything. You know what I did? I just started, man. I just started. There is never a right time to start, so I started. And I pulled the trigger, and I just ran toward the fire, and I fucked up. I made tons of mistakes, and I leveled up along the way, but you can't kill me. I am not killable. I will keep moving forward ruthlessly and relentlessly. You can't fucking stop me. You can't tell me no. And I got goosebumps right now telling you that because I can't be killed. I'm just dumb enough and driven enough to make something work. Like, dude, I'm like, apparel brands and podcasts are like the two like things that everyone does and no one makes successful. Like, if you break through in podcasts or the apparel brand, you've got something special because they both have a low barrier to entry and everyone does them. How come some people can break through and some people can't? Is it the message, or is it just they're just too dumb and driven to stop? And that's how you win, by keep moving forward. Dude, I ate shit. Cody, I ate shit for 3 years, man. Like, here's what happened. The business started doing well. So what I did is I sold all my clothes in the 10 gyms. And you know that North Carolina, we're very close to Camp Lejeune and Fort Bragg. So I spent $40,000 out of my savings. I put $4,000 of clothing in each of my 10 gyms in the pro shops. And the owner goes, you do all the work, you cover all the financials, and we'll split the profits 50-50. So I'm like, okay, and that seems bad for some people, but dude, we had 300,000 people walking through our 10 gym pro shops every month. So we're doing like 10 grand a month in sales, right? My cost of the clothing is like 3,500. We're making 6,500. Owner's taking 3,250. I'm taking 3,250. Dude, I just paid my mortgage and my wife's car payment and my car payment just from a side hustle, right? So then we started going to all the bodybuilding shows in southeastern North Carolina, the NPC bodybuilding shows. I'm going to South Carolina, North Carolina. I started going as far as Florida, Miami, Florida. Started going to Pittsburgh. I started going to Virginia, Maryland. Like, dude, it was unreal. Like, I was working 80, 90 hours a week. I get home Friday night at 8 o'clock. I load up my car. I drive 3 hours to a show. I'd pull into a hotel at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I get up at 7. I'd schlep I schlep all my shit and I set up my stand. I'd be at a table, pounding the pavement, talking to people belly to belly, selling clothes. And we do a bodybuilding show till 10 o'clock at night. I'd either drive home that night, then I spend the whole next day unpacking from the show, and I go back to work. And my wife's like, you've been working 115 hours a week for like a year and a half straight. And I did, man. I sacrificed family time. I sacrificed health. I sacrificed sleep. The only thing I didn't quit was working out and working. And what happened was I had made like $25,000 profit. I'm like, damn, you made $25,000 as a side hustle? It wasn't the money. It was that it was working. Like, I was doing it. And I said, if you go all in and you put these hours in, you could build something, motherfucker. So that was when I decided it was time to just cash in my chips and fucking gamble. I put it all on black, red, whatever you want to say, and I spun the wheel and I went all in on grind. And yeah, man, those first 3 years I left, maybe not 3 years, 2 years. You know, it was like, thank you, sir, for the shit sandwich. May I please have more? Yeah. And that's how I lived for a long time.
What I love most about that is like when we first linked up and I was shooting video content for you, you know, it was you operated out of a spare bedroom at your house. That was a bedroom, right? Office. It was your office, but that was a bedroom.
It was a bedroom. Then it slowly spread through everywhere in my house, my dining room table, my kitchen.
Like cooties. It went everywhere.
It
fast.
Was wild, man.
And then, you know, the 1,500 square foot warehouse you had that I teamed up with you on the upstairs. Luckily, your knees aren't the best, so you didn't want to walk upstairs. So, like, you had a space for my wife and I to hustle and learn. And then you were there for, a year? And then now you have, how big is your facility now?
Well, let's back up a little bit. I want to tell that story really quick. So I started out in my house. And guys, I think the place that people get lost is that they think that they need to be a big shot to, you know, have this, like, false image of being like, I've got this huge company I started. Dude, the behind the scenes is what sells, the sizzle, man. Like, the American dream it doesn't start with my dad gave me $50,000. I started a business and, you know, everything was paid for and I hired people and I built it. The sexy story, the dream, the American dream is to build something from nothing. Like, no sexy story starts with my daddy bankrolled me. The sexy story starts with, like, dude, I printed 100 T-shirts and set up a table in my lobby of my Gold's Gym, and I bought 144 shirts. We sold 100, right? I made $2,600 that day, and the other 44 I gave out in the gym. It was like a sea of grind. For like the next 3 months, everyone had on the same raglan, and I was like, I didn't leave the house, Cody, for probably 3 years, dude. Like, my goal was to do $100,000 a month, and I told my wife, when I do $100,000 in sales, gross sales, I will move out of this house, because slowly it taken over the whole home. And I had actually hired a woman, and it was really awkward because I'm like, hey, do you want a job? It was during COVID. I'm like, do you want a job? I need you to fold shirts in my house, and I'm not trying to sleep with you. I'm married, and I will pay you to come fold shirts in my house. And she agreed, and literally she's still with me. That's my first hire, and that woman is the backbone of my company. But so anyway, so we're killing it in the house, and dude, I shared just the real, the raw, the authentic, the me bagging, tagging, shipping, packing, driving to the post office, doing customer service, running the print shops, you know, doing designs, doing website builds. I was like the jack of all trades, master of none. And my wife's like, dude, you're working 20 hours a day. You're eating like hard-boiled eggs and peanut butter. Like, that's all you're eating is like 3 hard-boiled eggs and a tablespoon of peanut butter. You smell like armpits. You haven't showered in a week. You aren't doing anything but working and sleeping 3 hours and waking up to pack orders again. Hire people. And I did. And then she's like, now it's time to get out of the house. So, yeah, I rented a little 2,000 square foot warehouse. I got 1,000 down below, and the 1,000 upstairs is just going up and downstairs with inventory. It just wasn't of interest. So that upstairs was the poop room. We would go poopy upstairs and pee pee downstairs.
That is very accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very accurate. It's crazy, and it's like really inspiring to me because, you know, the internet world knows you, right? You have a lot of raving, like, just, I wouldn't even say fans, I'd say like real followers, like just they really engaged by this like powerful, you know, whether you see it or not this way. I see you as a very like masculine, like father figure, who's not perfect, but it's like, you know what? pivot, move on, let's go, keep on growing. And like, because the internet's fucking fake, right? Like it's, you know, you meet your hero, they say, and then you're like, man, I wish I didn't because that person's like a turd. But then when you meet like a real hero, you're like, dude, this fucking guy is like legit. You know, you're always like, you do not hesitate to like snipe me with like, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Which is kind of funny because I do that to my circle, my friends.
That's how we level up.
Yeah, and like I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like, man, this fucking guy's asking me questions, and it's like fucking bother me. And I'm like, it's good because it's bothering me because he's absolutely right. In that actual conversation, I was like, dude, you're telling me a lot of things that you can't. And I'm like, he's like, tell me the things that you can, focus on the things you can. And like, even though I know that, I was not tapping into that. Like, so we know a lot of things. We know what we should be doing, but when we hear it and it's like, oh fuck, like I forgot to like reach back into that pile of like knowledge and apply it to my life. Because, you know, your story of like having nothing, I mean, mine was the same thing. I had nothing. You know, I didn't want to, I'm a fucking veteran. You think I wanted an apparel company, like deal with all that toxic bullshit of like, oh, you're just gonna be another bro vet company with like, shoot him in the face, like fucking America. Like, I don't want that. But when I realized that this isn't t-shirts, bro, this is art, you know, and like it's a way to like every design I know that you have, it's all hand done. Like you have a top fucking great artist. It generally starts from like a thought from you or a sketch from you or your wife, and it goes to your artist and he perfects it. But like, where does that art come from? Comes from your pain, your thoughts, your feelings, your adversities, your victories. It comes from all these things that you've experienced. The same with mine. And, you know, to some it's just a graphic design t-shirt, but that's cool. But to a lot of them, it's like, fuck, man, I resonate with this message. And, you know, knowing you as a fucking man to man, I'm like, you know, I look up to you, dude. Like, I know you always say, for everyone listening, like, Tim's like, oh, I wasn't in the military. I'm like, yeah, but you would have been a fucking shoo-in with us because it's not the military that makes you a brother. It's the fact that you're not a bitch, the fact that, like, you care, the fact that, like, hey, I don't know this and I'm going to learn it. Like, you know, that's what makes you very, like, attractive. Like, that's why I'm drawn to you. And, you know, I've been wanting to interview you for a long time, and I took a long pause with my podcast originally because I didn't know what I was doing. And I also didn't have the vision that I have now for, like, the things that I want to do and, like, really what I want to extract out of people, because there's so many people out there that, you know, they see what you have here, materialistic. They see the external shit, and they're like, I want that. And you're like, good, go suffer and eat dog shit for fucking 5 years, and you might be able to have a chance to make a little blip on the radar. But people don't want to do that, and so like it's really, you are the true American dream story. Like, you are nobody till you became somebody. You were nobody in this space while you were someone big in this other world. And then you're like, I'm going to give up and sacrifice that where I'm well known, well loved, well respected, well feared, and I'm going to go hurl myself into this completely unknown environment. And, you know, you've had a lot of people reach out to you. Like, there's some big names that wear the Grind Athletics. Like, there's some really big names, and you don't showcase that a lot. You like low-key showcases sometimes. We have conversations.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
I'm not a dropper of names, but
yeah, but like me personally, I look at that, I'm like, man, bro, you should talk about that. They're literally sharing you and tagging you for a reason. But like, what I love about you is like I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you have this like underdog mentality that kind of keeps you like that fire stoked inside you to just keep on going. Like, because if you pick your head up, you'll get sniped maybe. But like, you have really big names in various industries, not just bodybuilding, like big fucking names, and you can drop your own names. But there's a lot of big people that have like reached out to you and like offer you advice and like mentored you indirectly because they see like you're relentless and that you're showing up, and most importantly, you're making dents, right? Like, that's where social media gets fucking weird, because people are like, oh, you don't have many followers or likes, or you have a gazillion people that follow you or a gazillion likes, but it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is the context. Like, what matters is like the depth of like the copy that's in there, right? Because there's like, might have a T later, and like that could have a bunch of vanity metrics, but then you could have like some really fucking crazy next level stuff, and it might not get the attention it deserves, but the people, the quality of people that you are touching, or the ones that don't even engage with you, you're like, you're dropping nuggets. You're like impacting lives, you know? And that's what I love about you is like, you are this like fucking crazy lifestyle. And just like I kind of feel like with my brand, like yours has really kind of progressed, super workout, grind athletics, like in that space. But like now you for the past, how many years, like really this like lifestyle and just like true freedom, especially once I saw you move from the city to the country. Do you have a pool at your house? Like, this guy's got a pool because he loves his water. He used to love the beach, probably still loves the beach, but you really love a pool. But you're in the middle of like BFE, and you haven't let off the gas once. It's just it makes my heart so happy because I've seen you thrive more as just a human being here. Like, you just look happier. Like, you just look less stressed because you were literally grinding ever since I've known you, and you were grinding before that as well. And so to be able to like witness that, like, man, it makes, I tell my wife all the time, like, dude, this fucking guy's got a tractor now. And I just see him smiling on there. Like, you are this big fucking teddy bear. And I'm really curious, like, what do you think is like misunderstood about you?
I thrive being alone. Like, I genuinely recharge and do best being alone. And I don't, like, yes, I have a circle. I've got great friends like you, but I do really well. I'm a reclusive introvert, and I need to be alone to be my best. And like you talked about these, famous people that are customers and supporters and things. And the reason I don't drop their names is because it just feels cheesy, man. Like, I don't want to be a fan. Like, I remember meeting someone, Jay Cutler and Mr. Olympia, somebody famous, and like we just had conversations, dude. We were like, he's a friend of mine, and we talk about riding 4-wheelers and just all kinds of cool stuff. And like, as we're talking, everyone comes up to him and like, hey Jay, nice to meet you. I'm your biggest fan. Can I get a picture? And I'm like, and he's amazing. Like, everyone loves Jay. But I was like, hey man, does it get old? Like, just always like the surface? And he's like, yeah, bro, I like real conversations. And so I don't want to be looked at as a fan. Like, I don't want to be looked at, not necessarily an equal, but a friend. So like, when these big customers become friends, like, I don't want to be like me looking up to them as an idol. I want to be in their circle, and that's why I don't drop names.
Yeah, I mean, I would never think that you look at anyone as an idol. More what I was referring to is just like you have like, and these dudes, men and women that purchase from you that are like extremely well known in like the world. You guys have quality conversation, in some capacity. So I mean, I just think that's cool because like I know the story. I don't know like all the gritty detail, but like I know that you know these people, and I know that they know you, and I know that you guys have like phone calls or text message conversations. And I just think that's like super rad because, I think there's a lot of people that want to be seen. They want to like make an impact in this life, and they're like, well, I'm not, for instance, Jay Cutler, I'm not Andy Frisella, I'm not these people, but of course you're fucking not those people. No one's Tim Banford. They're not supposed to be. If they were you, it wouldn't work, right? If they try to do you, it wouldn't work. But when you look at all these people, the only difference is they never stopped. They never stopped in many aspects, but they never stopped believing in themselves. So, so you're this like really introvert. You think that's where people get you wrong? Do they think that you're like this like extrovert, like fucking dude? Or like, what do you think people, because you get a lot of hate like me on the internet because the internet's fun. And you definitely express how you feel about being a father, being just a parent, being a man, being an American. Like, what do you think that, not for like the trolls out there, but what do you think that you're misunderstood, or what do you think is a big misconception about Tim Banford?
So if I was, skinny and not tattooed and I was quiet, I would just be shy. But because not as big as I used to be in my older years, but, when I was 250 pounds and, tattooed everywhere, it's when you're quiet because you just don't really want to partake in conversation because you're just a reclusive introvert. Everyone's like, oh, the dude thinks he's tough, he's cocky, he's just a dick, he has nothing to say, he's just judging us. And it's like, bro, I just want to go home and be alone. I want to be by myself. And I think, I go hot and cold on social media because, like, dude, I don't desire to be known. And I think that's what makes me different than many people. Like, dude, there's some people on social media that I thought were amazing, and I'm not going to mention their names. And I've messaged them, and I feel like my message has weight. Like, I have, not to, like, it's like being rich at Monopoly, which means nothing. I have 110,000 followers, and I've got a community behind me. I've got obviously success of the business. You can see that, we're not smoke and mirrors. Like, my followers are a real engaged community. And I reached out to some people who I consider like on my level. And like, I get back like a one-word answer. It's like, bro, you try so hard to present this image and be someone that you think you are and what the people want to be. And you're really not that person. You're just a disappointment. And it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all flexing for the gram. Dude, I could give a fuck about being known on social media. Like, I truly don't care. Like, I don't want to be an icon or an influencer or this big well-known name. All I want to do is spread my message, sell some shirts, connect with some cool-ass people, and go retreat to the woods and be with my wife and my son and go shoot some deer in the woods.
So like, what is that message?
My message is that, dude, I'm the American dream, man. Like, people, I'm nobody special, but I possess some special skills, You could be me. Anyone could be me. Like, my life is real and relatable. I don't have a helicopter. I don't have this $10 million house. Dude, I live in a 2,000 square foot house on 30 acres in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. It's all pine trees and sand, but it's fucking cool. I mean, I've got, another 85 acres next to me that I lease, and then I've got another 10 acres I own down the road, and it's just like, my message is just like, be yourself, man. Trying to be someone else is overrated. And I think the thing is, I go dark because I stop believing in myself sometimes. Like, no one really cares what you have to say. Who are you? Why does it matter? And then, like, I'll put out a message and just boom, it's like, everyone's like, bro, I fucking love you. You're fire. You just fixed my life. And I'm like, damn, like, I do bring value to people. And I often lose belief in myself, just that, who am I? Why does anyone want to listen? And then it's like, I put out that message and I'm just like, I get this high. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm changing lives and I'm changing world. And, it's just hard because I do like being alone. I am a reclusive introvert. So it's, I got to get more consistent with my messaging. But at the end of the day, dude, I'm running a multi-million-dollar company. I've got shit to do besides be on social media all day. Like, we are running an actual business. I am not somebody that just does videos and reels all day and just rants and raves on social media.
Yeah, I think I like that. You're like, I lose belief in myself at times, or like I doubt if my shit's even good, and I think that's where people get wrong. They listen to the people. I don't think that every like well-known like motivator or inspire. I don't believe that anyone's full of shit until they're like deemed full of shit, right? Like, because that's really easy for anyone to come judge. A video, a 20-second clip, right, without the context. And that's easy to do until you really confirm or deny in person. Or like really firsthand experience, you really don't know. So I kind of take everything with a grain of salt. But like, what I like about the people that I hang out with is like, fuck yeah, dude, I doubt myself. I'm just too stupid to fucking quit. Like I fucking do sometimes. Like I have another mentor of mine, his name's Cody, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I want to burn it all down. He's like, dude, just get the fuck off social media. I'm like, but social media needs me, like the fucking algorithm. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I needed that honesty. He's like, dude, fuck the algorithm. I'm like, you know what? Fuck the algorithm. Yeah. And it just took like 2 weeks to me. And I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to do anything that I don't want to do. And so like my social media is just simply just whatever the fuck I want to do. Like people, you and I both into hunting a lot now. And you hunt like every fucking day. And people are like, why aren't you posting this on your social media? I'm like, because bitch, I want to, dude. Like, it doesn't deter my message. Like, I'm also not like everyone else that you gawk at, because some of these people take, there's so many like gurus on the internet that, especially like the health space, like a lot of my feed is like, just like, kind of like a full spectrum of everything. I'm kind of interested in everything: psychedelics, healing, fitness, cooking, hunting stuff. Like, I'm into all of it. And there's so many people that are like, oh, if you drink pee, you need to drink your pee. Or if the internet told them to eat their poop, they would do it, right? Like, I'm just like, people are always coming out as like the expert, but like, how do you feel? Like, not based off your research. What do you think? How are you doing today? And, I think there's a lot of people that out there that can say like, you know what, man, sometimes I fucking doubt myself. I'm making multiple million, I have a multi-million-dollar company, and sometimes I fucking doubt myself. That makes you human, and that, I think, this is what makes your message so relatable. So when you do go dark, it's completely not planned, I don't think, other than for your own wellness. But when you come back on, man, you bring the fire, because that's what I like about you. Like, I see you differently than probably you see yourself, and I think we all have that kind of like those people in our life that see us differently than we see ourselves. Because if we saw ourselves as everything perfect, there would really be no struggle. And that's why having a circle of like friends and like mentors and coaches, that's why I find value in those things, because I only know what I know. You know, I don't know half the shit, and you've taught me a lot. My other coaches and mentors have taught me a lot. And but when you're able to see yourself as like, why not you? Why not you? You can be dead as fuck, bro. You are gonna die. I'm gonna die too. Why the fuck would I want the world to know that I existed? And like someone commented on my post the other day. I was talking about my mom, and this lady, not a lady, she's like a young gal, like my age, 30, mid-30s or so, and she's a mom, and she's like, I bet your mom's really, really proud of you. Like really like making her proud, honoring her, honoring your last name. I'm like, fuck, I never looked at it that way. My dad was really big into family tree shit growing up. I didn't want nothing to do with that. I didn't give a fuck. I was worried about chicks and military. That's all I cared about. And then I've been really looking back. I'm like, man, how selfish is that kind of mindset? Because, my legacy will continue on with me and then my sons. Like, that's it. And how I show up for them and how I represent my fucking name, my family's name. Because I'm sometimes a spoiled fucking kid. I'm a spoiled, 1980s baby sometimes. Sometimes I'm hungry and I go to the refrigerator. Where my family in the past, they were hungry, they went to the fucking woods, And so I'm like, what can I do differently to, I don't know, to like just not fucking care. Just to show, if I want to not go out, I'm not going to go out. If I want to go on social media, I'm going to go on social media. If I want to post about a fucking shooting, going on my first coyote hunting, I'm going to fucking do it.
But you know what, though, man? Here's the deal. That's different than everybody, right? That's different because everyone – here's the deal. So with Grind Athletics, I did nothing that I was supposed to, right? I did it completely opposite. I did it organic. I did it different, right? So everyone uses ambassadors, influencers, sponsored athletes. I have none, right? The first 4 years of my business, I didn't run a single paid ad on social media. You know what I did, Cody? Every weekend I went to a bodybuilding show and I set up a table and I shook hands and I got belly to belly with people and I created raving fans one by one. They followed me on social media. I followed them. We kept in touch. Not for any ulterior motive, just because I connected people one-on-one. I wrote handwritten thank you cards. My thank you card started with 3 paragraphs. You got a 3-paragraph handwritten thank you card from me as the owner. You got a free sticker. If you, still to this day, if you email customer service, you're talking to me because no one's going to give a shit like I'm going to give a shit. I did everything completely different. Like my Grind Athletics page wasn't just all like inspired to grind and be better. Like I did real nuts and bolts shit about who I am as a man and what I stand for, what I believe in. Dude, my social media for Grind Athletics is just sharing my lifestyle, which is the brand and culture. It's me processing deer. It's me shooting guns with my kids. It's me ripping four-wheelers. It's me driving a big, obnoxious truck. It's me hunting. It's me just living life. And, like, I don't have this, like, plan like everyone else. Everyone else has, like, influencers and athletes, and, they use this app to know the times to post and when they need to put this up, and they need this algorithm and formula. I'm just like, I just shot a deer. Let me share people be skinning it, and like, hey, I'm going to go in the woods and, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but it's different, man. So if everyone's selling the same vanilla bullshit and they're doing the same formula, and then here comes me just too stupid to follow everybody else and just let me blaze my own trail, and it's like, that makes you stand out because you are not like everyone else, right? If everyone is wearing a black shirt, you're wearing white. Why is this dude wearing white? I got to see what this guy stands for. And it's just, bro, I did things exactly the opposite of everyone else, and that is how I built raving fans one by one. And it's the same way that I live my life, man. Like, I don't want to blend in, and I don't want to conform to what everyone else is doing. I had the fancy car, I had the big house in the suburbs, I had the neighbor thing, and I'm like, it just felt dumb. It wasn't who I wanted to be, and I'm like, it's time to flip the script and figure out what you want to be and live unapologetically. That's what I did.
I think sometimes it's good to have those like lavish, audacious kind of like goals and desires, because it's better to like go pursue them and taste them and realize you don't like the way it tastes than sometimes I feel like always try to be like, I want to experience this, and you never do, therefore you never know. And then if you don't fail fast, fail often, you can never pivot. So like I thought I wanted like the fancy shit in the woods. Like I want to live in the woods by my fucking self, not by myself, like my family. But I want all these things. I'm like, I don't want that shit. I'm like, now I want to focus on how can I treat my friends better? How can I gift them with like experiences, right? Because they're gonna be dead just like me. You know, one of my big goals is to fly my friends to Alaska for a hunt. You know, I don't want them to have to worry about anything, but just getting off of work or whatever their life is doing, and then come and I provided everything because that's gonna make me feel good. Because now working to like, dude, let's figure this out. You know, now my money is serving something bigger than just my fucking self, and that's been a big pivot for me. I don't know if anything like you, but like, I wanted to be successful because I wanted to be successful. But I was just linking up with a bunch of buddies that I haven't seen in 20 years that I fucking fought on rooftops with. You know, I'm like, every time I talk about like my history or my past, and or I'm going in speaking engagements or I post on fucking social media, it ain't about me. It's my voice. But all those lessons and all those stories, it's representing those who will never ever fucking speak. One, because they're dead, or two, because they don't want to. But that would be a disservice to not win big. You know, for all of our friends who believed in us, whether it was like a fucking, you know, an old lady walking down the street one day and she's like, "Oh, hey, you look like you're just a really nice guy," and you're like, "Fuck, that lady impacted me. I don't want to let her down. I don't even know who she is," you know, and or those mothers or fathers or grandparents or just complete strangers, man. Like, people bet on us in some capacity. Like, like for instance, when I was in the military, I was extremely successful, but not by my own power. I had dudes look after me and look out for me. It wasn't just about me. I reaped the benefits, but at any time, dude, in that world, that fucking dog eat dog. So I had people like invest into me. So for me to not be my best is a slap in the face for them. You know, for me to, like, my mom and dad fucking lived well below their means to provide for me with opportunity. And if I was to just be a piece of shit, that's just like, how would that make you feel if the roles were reversed? You know, when I know my mom's not gonna live forever, but damn it, when she tells me she's proud of me, fuck, it makes me feel really good. I'm like, okay, well, what else can I do? Like, how further can I go? Like, even not just in a business aspect, just like in my own family, in my own relationship, like my own self. Like, how can I treat my mom better? Because my mom triggers me, dude. My mom and I used to have a horrible relationship, horrible, just bickering. Both of us were guilty, and COVID was the best thing that happened because I spent all of COVID with my mom, and it was great. A lot of healing happened, a lot of like being able to have conversations. So now I'm just like, and I'm still an asshole kind of by trade. I have tendencies, maybe like most people, but I definitely have them. I'm like, you know what? How can I respect the shit out of my mom today and let her know that, you know, it's not just about me? What questions can I ask her to make her feel seen and, you know, about her life? Like, hey, Mom, what was it like when you went to high school? Like, or what were you thinking when you did this? You know, and just stop making it more about me and what can I do for other people, especially in my circle. So like, when I look at like entrepreneurship or like the things I'm getting into in my own personal life, I'm like, what can I do with this? I don't want to just collect money. I want to make money to use money to make more money, but to make also more experiences and to expand my own freedom. Because if I don't, there's someone looking at me that needs me to fucking shine, just like you. You said you go dark for a bit, you come back, and someone's like, "Damn, you just changed my fucking life," with text words. If history has shown us anything, the power of words have literally moved nations. Or that's the Bible, a book, you know, it doesn't matter. The fact is, if they were never put down on any form of like medium, they would never have any form of impact. And so for you to go dark and then get out of your own fucking head, whether you're still in the dark or not, but you show up and do that, man, that to me, that's honorable, right? But at the same time, I'm with you. Like, I was at this graduation. There's like 200 dudes out there, like all Scout Snipers, final Scout Sniper graduation, and we're at a thing called the Hogs Night. So it's like they cook a bunch of pig. It's a hot mess, right? But it's all very constructive. And some of the guys are like, I kind of figured you'd be walking around like talking. And we're like, no, dude, like I'm fucking introvert as fuck. Like, being on internet is not easy for me. Like, I don't enjoy it. I just do it because it's not about me. Because if I don't show up and share the lessons of wisdom, every fucking pain and trauma I ever had is for nothing. And that's fucking selfish, right? That's just hell on myself. And so for me to show up, it's not the easiest thing. But that's why I tell people, just like you said, like, man, I didn't know how to fucking start apparel, and I just figured it out. There's so many fucking people that just won't do what's required, figure it out, you know? And like, we want the Amazon Prime, we want the pill, we want the quick fucking instant gratification, and you know, that's affecting our fucking country, and it's affecting like the future leaders that need to step up. And so to have someone like you that, does your part, maybe you don't view it that way, but if I have someone like you who is, you're going to be dead one day, you're an American, you're a father, you're a husband, you're an entrepreneur, you're a dude that has a fucking dream. You're also a dude that's got real world problems. You just fixed a tire flat yesterday. You have fucking self-doubt sometimes. You're just a real human being. And to me, that's way more inspiring than like the fucking perfect person on social media telling you what you need to do that has never once said any form of their darkness or their struggle. They never once showed the fucking Honda Civic they drove. Or they never once said, I had a fucking Range Rover. I had everything, and I had nothing. They don't talk like that. And to me, that authenticity is like what the world is fucking missing for. That's why I think people fucking relate to you so much, because you're like, yep, it is what it is. Fucking like it or love it. Like, that's okay. I'm not for everybody. I care about my family. I care about the people that support me because they have values and dreams too. And if I'm to shit on them, what is my message? Like, what good is that? So this is going to definitely have to be part 2 because there's a lot about Tim, but what do you think, what does living bolder mean to you? Like, what does that mean to you?
Living bolder. That's a good question, man. But definitely put me on the spot with that one. I think just being your true, authentic self, man. Like, I'm not trying to appease anyone. I'm trying to live true. And that's a tough one, Cody. You have to give me a minute on that. You kind of got me blindsided there.
That's what I do.
Yeah. We have to circle back to that, brother.
Well, let's dive in, because I like the static pause, because I know whatever comes out of your mouth is going to be what needs to come out of your mouth. But you remember when I asked you the other day, like, hey, raise your hand, and you raised your arm?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, now raise it more, and you found it in you. I'm like, dude, that's live bolder to me. And when I look at you, when I see live bolder, I see a fucking man who has gone through all these different fucking deaths and resurrections. And I don't think you're done yet. I think there's a different side of you that you haven't even discovered yet. And I think that's probably true for every man. We go through these different, like, what more can I do? And sometimes more is not collecting more. It's like, who can I become? Right? Like,
see, I think it's almost the opposite for me. I think for me, like, not many people have met the true Tim B. They've not really seen who I am, because I remember one time I was talking with Andy Frizella, and we had a little 30-minute phone call that I had been gifted, and I remember him being like, man, I just got to put myself out there, and he's like, do it. And I'm like, I know, I just got to share more. I got to really show people who I am. He's like, do it, motherfucker. I'm like, and what he didn't understand is that I was already like real hard-charging, raw, hard-hitting motherfucker, right? But I'd only shown people like the 7 out of 10. Like, I think the true Tim would scare people. Like, my intensity, my drive, my anger, which anger is my gift, and not to sound like I think that's a Rage Against the Machine song, but like, bro, I harnessed my anger. I was dark, I was angry, I was mean, I was aggressive, and that just kept me fucking running hard. So sometimes I feel like I hold back because I'm afraid I'm going to scare people. I'm afraid I'm going to scare people with the storm in my head and the drive. Like, when I talk about you can't kill me, you can't kill me. Like, I might not engage with you if you're arguing or you're saying something stupid on social media because it's not relevant to me. Yeah. But, like, you cannot stop a man who's not willing to be stopped. I mean, dude, I took from slinging T-shirts in the gym to a multi-million-dollar brand, not knowing a friggin' thing about how to start an apparel brand. So I think my goal for 2024 is to kind of get back to being who I am, and I don't care who I scare. I don't care who's like, whoa, this dude's fucking crazy, because the world needs leaders. Like, I'll put up the dumbest thing about, like, a situation with my son, and people are like, bro, I really needed that because I'm lost as a father. I'm like, dude, that's, like, just as simple as washing your hands. And I realize, like, I'm trying to come up with this, like, next-level stuff, and I realize most people just need the most basics, man. I remember during my lifting days and during my sales days, it was always about mastering the basics. The world needs people to share the basics and to help others become successful. So I guess, like, recapping that, like, what is live bolder than
to you?
Live bolder, I guess it just means go be all fucking in. Like jump in the fucking fire, sink or swim. Like I did it with grind. Live bolder. Like I burned my ships. I had no contingency plan. I quit a job. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like the first thing I did for living bolder, Cody, is I know it's cheesy, but I tattooed my hands. And I'm like, you just tattoo your hands and make yourself more unemployable. That was burning my ships. I had no contingency plan. I now identify as unemployable. You could never hire a man like me to work for your organization because I'm not going to come in when you tell me. I'm not going to wear what you want. I'm not going to cover up my tattoos. I'm not going to say please and thank you every time. And sometimes I'm going to use the word fuck. And I told myself, okay, tattoo your hands, that's burn your ship, no contingency plans, right? And then I told myself, when you do $100,000, you can tattoo your throat. So that became a whole nother level of unemployable, right? I think living bolder means that you are put on this earth to do something amazing and to harness your true potential. And I am guilty as fuck of not harnessing my true potential because the world's not ready to meet me because I think the world would be scared. The world would be scared as like, this dude is fucking crazy. And I hide a lot of my craziness, and it's not like a crazy that is bad. It's a crazy that's good. It's a crazy that took some dude from middle class to, $3.80 an hour, work on a dairy farm, friggin' picking tomatoes and schlepping produce, to making $150,000 in the fitness industry, which might not be a lot, but that's the fitness industry. Most people are making, a third of that. And so live bolder, man, is just fucking go all in, man. Burn your ships, no contingency plans, sink or swim, like be unstoppable and just fucking go. And that's what I need to do because I doubt myself a lot and I have a hard time getting out of my own head. And it's like, I see it, dude. I see like I changed lives and I see that I've built something. And then I'm like, I go dark and I retreat. But I think my life has become a lot of ebbs and flows. And I've learned that like I have highs and lows, right? So something I learned about myself, I don't call it depression, but I get in this dark place where I just want to be alone and I don't want to talk. I don't want to share. I'm still behind the scenes fucking working, grinding, but I'm still doing that. But then I start hating myself. I start getting disappointed in myself because I'm like, bro, you're not living your true potential. And how I reset is I do hard things. I make myself suffer. And by that suffering, it means that I get up in the darkness and I go sit in my pool for 10 minutes in like 44-degree water and just fucking suffer. Or I'll go for a walk in the rain in like the winter without a shirt on. And I don't share it on social media because it's not for a flex. It's because I need to suffer and I need to do something hard. And when I do that, it's like I look at life as what I call the bank of engagement, right? You have the bank of engagement is about withdrawals and deposits, right? If you have more withdrawals than deposits, you will go under. If you have more deposits than withdrawals, you have abundance. So for me, doing hard things in life becomes a deposit in my bank of engagement. It's like you suffered, you woke up and you worked out. Like imagine your alarm goes off. The goal is to beat your alarm because your body gets on that natural rhythm. My goal, the first win of the day for me was to beat my alarm up, right? Which is usually 5 a.m. I'm going to be out in the water in the pure darkness. So if I can beat my alarm, that's a win. My second win is to get my feet on the floor within 10 seconds of waking up. I'm like, you can't lose. So I'm like, I wake up, I'm half asleep. I'm like, get your feet on the floor. Boom. That's my win number 2. Win number 3 is get in my bathrobe, go down the pool and jump in that cold water for 5-10 minutes and just suffer. Now I have woken up in the first 15 minutes of waking up. I have 3 wins. Those are deposits. Those are not withdrawals, right? So I'm feeling like a hard-charged, invincible motherfucker. Then, I have my program in the morning. I don't get on social media. I don't check emails. I don't check bank statements. I don't go through anything. Next, I go in. I have coffee, right? I'm already running a high from my endorphins from that cold water. Then I have coffee, and I have some farm fresh eggs from our chickens, and I talk to my children. And I usually drive them to school 1 week. I pick them up the next. So I spend time in the car talking to my kids. Then I usually go right to the gym and I have a workout. After all that, it's like, okay, bring on the day, motherfuckers. I'm ready for everything. But anyway, so to circle back, my ebbs and flows. I found that a way that I break out of a rut is to do hard things. And when I do hard things, I become just engaged and it's like my tank's full. And then I'm like, okay, it's time to share. And then I start sharing. And then the feedback from people is so strong that I just go on this spiral where I'm like, and I'm just changing lives. And then all of a sudden, the brakes slam on, and then I go to a dark place again. Like I said, I'm still working because I don't have any defeat or retreat. I'm still working, but you won't hear from me. You won't see me. I won't be talking. I won't be engaging. I won't be interacting. I'm behind the scenes working, not happy with myself, but I still got my pedal on the metal. And that's just me, dude. I'm just ebbs and flows. Like, I people use the word happiness. I don't really know what happy is. Like, I like my life, but I don't consider myself a depressed person. I don't consider myself a happy person. I just execute, man. I realize that my happiness comes from being busy. My happiness comes from accomplishing and winning and creating and building. And I have to keep moving forward. My happiness, which is a word I use lightly, is done by momentum. And that's something I've learned about myself, that I don't celebrate my wins. Like, I'll set a goal, and as soon as I accomplish that goal, it's like, okay, what's next? Like, I'm not like, I did this, I did that. Like, when I used to run gyms and we'd have a record month, the owner would call me and he'd just give me all this praise and recognition about how I killed it and we made this amount of money. You were at 120% of goal. I'm like, cool, dude. Like, that's awesome, man. Thanks for the pat on the back. Doesn't mean shit to me. Tell me what I can do to be better. Break me down, tear me apart, and build me stronger. And he's like, bro, there's nothing you could do better. I was like, no, that's not true. Find a fucking weakness, identify it, let's attack it, and make me a machine. And that's again, I got goosebumps. That's my happiness, dude. Like, my happy place is building, creating, winning, charging forward, ruthlessly, relentlessly, and just checking boxes and what's next. Like, I am not the kind of guy that goes on vacation. You put me on vacation, like, by day 2 or day 3, I'm like, I'm ready to go home because I've got to be moving forward. And I think a lot of people struggle with happiness. I think a lot of people think that they're supposed to be happy. Like, dude, I wish I had the happiness of my wife. My wife is like, she's so happy, dude. She's so bubbly. Like, I walk into a room, nobody talks to me. And my wife walks in the room, everyone gravitates toward her. So when I say she's my better half, like, dude, she's that captivating, mesmerizing, golden child personality people gravitate to. People are kind of like, your husband's kind of scary, doesn't talk a lot. But they do come to realize that I am that person that will give them the shirt off my back. I'm the person that will help them bury a body in the middle of the night. I am the person that will invest everything I have into them because I thrive on making people personally and professionally better. And that is where I derive happiness from. My happiness, like I said again and again, is based upon executing, winning, building, creating, and just moving the needle, moving the needle, moving the needle, moving the needle.
What's you got the world's attention right now? What's your message to the world?
Message to the world is like what Cody said. You're all gonna die. Live a life you want to live, man. Like, stop wasting time worried about what everyone else is fucking doing and focus on you. Look, man, I don't believe in this term 0 fucks given, no fucks given. Look, we all care to a degree, right? But I challenge myself every day to think differently and move differently, right? So when I get something stupid on social media, someone wants to say, oh, you're like this, or you knock this off, or you rip this off, or you're a douche, or blah, blah, blah. Bro, you cannot, I have what I call emotional intelligence. You cannot elicit a reaction out of me. I refuse to let you rattle my cage. Like, before, if you fucked with me, I wanted to kill you. Like, I would want to beat you down to oblivion. Now I'm like, real growth comes from changing your reaction. You cannot rattle my cage. You are not worthy of dragging me down to an argument because, bro, you're just taking time from me, my family, and my growth to argue with you, and you mean nothing to me. So I challenge you guys to be who you want to be and live how you want to live, man. If you can do that, it's amazing, dude. Like, I drive an obnoxious lifted truck wrapped in camo. I look like a fucking douche, I'm sure. Everyone, oh, I must have a little dick. Bro, I don't care. I'm going to wave when I go by you, right? Every day I wake up and I get to go hunting. And, dude, I don't even kill many deer. I think I've killed 2 this year. But I spend about 5 hours a day in the woods. Everyone else is going through little cubicles and their little shacks and that they have to go work in. And I'm like, have fun at work, suckers. Yeah, I might be working until 3 a.m. that day, but I'm going to be in the woods. I'm going to be present for my children. So my message to you guys is, you're going to die one day. How do you want to live? Make that happen. Because I realized I was living a life that I thought I was meant to live to impress others and appease others. And honestly, me being a reclusive introvert, I don't really give a fuck about people. But I guess I wanted their respect. I guess I wanted someone to acknowledge that I became something. I come from a broken family, so I don't really engage with any of I've got a twin sister and a brother, and, I don't know their phone numbers, and I haven't talked to my mother since 2010. I never told my parents I love them. I shake my dad's hand, and it's just a broken system. And I did it over, though, man. I did it with my family, man. I became an amazing father, active, present, engaged with my children. I try to be the man I need to be for them. And I think the biggest joy I get out of life, dude, is just redoing what I did not have as a kid, which is family over everything, putting them first. So, yeah, I guess my advice to you, man, is just to people is be your true, authentic self and live how you want to live, move how you want to move, and fucking execute. And don't worry about anyone else is doing, because, dude, we're all focused on what we're doing anyway.
Yeah, that's I think it's a great message. I think it's a great way to wrap this up. And I think that's like great sound advice that the world needs to just be fucking reminded. I think it's out there, but the deal is like we got to say things multiple times, multiple ways, by multiple different people for other people to comprehend it and understand it, for it to click. Yeah, literally, internet world is fake. It's so fucking fake, and everyone is judging you. They're going to be dead as shit one day. Everyone who looks at you with a snarky look, or every Karen out there, they're going to be dead as fuck one day. How do you want to live? That's a powerful message, man.
And you said it perfectly, Cody, to interject. Everyone mostly is fake, but it's the true, like my bio says real, raw, and authentic, because you're just going to get some dude that isn't here for any ulterior motives or means. I'm just like, here's what I did today, and here's what I believe, and if you don't like it, cool. I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm going to share it, and if you don't like it, then change the channel. And those people are rare, dude. Like, I watched some really big names on social media. I was like, bro, you're here for the likes. You're here for the follows. That's not who you really are. You're trying to be this persona. We all sniff through it, dude. And there's a few people that I consider real, raw, and authentic, and it's just like, it resonates, because if everyone's doing the same fucking thing and you do it differently, you stand out.
Oh, yeah. I laugh because that's it. It's never been easier to stand out, especially with social media. Just be you. And if you're fucked up, be fucked up. If you're a dickhead, be a dickhead. If you're angry, be angry. If you're funny, be funny. Just be you. But I think that's everyone's different journey too. Like, most people don't know who they are, but what a gift, right? What a gift to be able to go on that journey, go on that discovery, and not be perfect, but be progressive. Making progression towards, like, you know what? I got some things to work on. Let me focus on that for the next 6 months. Let me focus on this for the next 6 months, and let's see who I can become before I die. Because it's not like, hey, I made it. I'm 50 years old or 40 years old or 30 years. I made it. Mission's over. Nah, I just wait till I dead. Like, that's already death. But like, your best person, your best self might be crafted at the age of 75. It might be crafted at 92. And that's pretty fucking awesome. I think we look at age and we look at the journey completely different, because we see instant gratification. All these motherfuckers that are winning now, I'm glad they're winning. But like, what are they outside of that? How are they going to feel in 20 years? Hopefully fucking amazing and still growing. But the thing is, we've seen that time and time again. That's just simply not true. And we've also seen people that are milking cows and picking fucking berries that are completely transforming their life, their family's life, and their fucking future, their family's future, because they bet on themselves and they just didn't stop. So the person that goes and then creates and then stops will fucking die off much quicker than the person that goes and doesn't stop and just finds new ways to be engaging and be creative.
I think something that you just touched upon is that you have to have your own version of success, and you have to have your own version of your own definition of happiness. And too many people get caught up in, like, this is what success means. And like, success could be a Ferrari for you. Success could be waking up and, be going in the woods and hunting. Everyone has their own version of success. And I think a lot of people they fall victim to trying to be this persona on social media and show dude, I show a lot less than I actually have, because a lot of it's fucking irrelevant. It's not what defines me. Like, dude, I could burn all this down. I could get rid of all these vehicles and move to a friggin', like, I always told my wife, if we ever get divorced, which will never happen, I'll just move into my warehouse and sleep on the fucking futon and shower at the gym and, just put some frozen, healthy to-go meals in the fridge and microwave them with my dog, and I would probably be just as happy, because all this can burn down, because I know that everything I've ever accomplished, like, here's the deal. Like, I remember one time I worked my dick off, right, and I was going to buy a Porsche Cayenne GTS Turbo, right, And, dude, I worked so fucking hard for that car, and I bought the car, right? You know what I remember? Not the car, but I remember the journey to get there, dude, and I would do it over again. All those late nights hustling, grinding, working my dick off to earn that car, hitting goals, celebrating and taking my team out to victory dinners. Dude, that's shit I remember. I don't remember driving the car. The car didn't mean nothing. It was the journey,
Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah.
I remember that car too.
Yeah. Fucking, I used to be in the fancy cars. Now I have a tractor. And then the very last thing I want to talk about is standing alone, right? I mean, standing out. Cody talked about standing out. Something I get with my business a lot is like, bro, like, dude, you guys are like amazing. You people give me all these kudos, and I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I sell T-shirts, right? But people are blown away that we ship fast, that we literally ship same-day shipping with an 8 a.m. cutoff to make mail same day. You get a handwritten thank you card personalized to you, not just a thank you, but like literally a handwritten message and a free sticker. And then if you email us, you get an email pretty much 5 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. You get a response with me from within a minute to maybe 30 minutes max. I'm on email, wake up to sleep. And people are like, bro, like, you guys are amazing. And I'm like, am I? Or is everyone else just really bad at it? Like, dude, don't overcomplicate. We're not curing cancer. We're shipping shirts fast. We're writing handwritten thank you cards. We're giving a free sticker, and we're communicating fast. Like, these companies that say, we respond to all emails within 1 to 2 business days, you can email me at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, you get a response. Literally, I might just got done doing the brown cow with my wife. She goes to sleep, and let me just check emails one more time for a sweep. So my advice to you guys, it's not hard to stand out, right? The competition you think that is out there is so weak. It is not hard to beat everyone, man. If I did it, just some tattooed peckerwood from North Carolina, didn't even know how to make a T-shirt. If I can do it, anyone can do it, man.
Tim, I think we're good there.